Everybody ought to know it's us against the world, baby. Oh, it's us against the world.
Hey family, what is going on, guys? It is AP and Toya here. It's been a minute, but we are back with a new podcast, and we appreciate you guys.
Yeah, hasn't been that long.
We've been bad with these podcasts, man, and we apologize. But yeah, it's been a while. No.
Hasn't been that long.
All right,
Not that long.
All right, well, we haven't been that long.
It's been a few weeks, but we're back.
But we are back, and we appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you guys to our SoundCloud family, our Spotify, our Apple Podcasts. Everybody checks us out on all these different platforms. We appreciate you guys, and especially special shout out to our IG family. You guys are the ones that talk to us the most, so we appreciate you guys for everything that you do. Welcome to
Thank you to all of our listeners, our friends that have been texting and encouraging us, like, hey, no podcast.
They're like, where the podcast at?
Yeah.
So
I felt the love. Thank you.
Yeah, make me feel like we was doing something y'all wanted to hear, so we appreciate that.
Thank you.
But yeah, again, if this is your first time viewing us, I'm AP. This is my wife,
Latoya.
And we've been married for
15 years. Well, it's going to be 15 years.
All right, there you go. All right.
So I'm claiming it. So we've been married for 14 years.
Yeah, together for 19 years.
Yeah.
And at this podcast, we always say we're not perfect people. We don't have a perfect marriage. We will never, ever claim to be gurus or relationship gurus, none of that stuff. We just say that in our imperfection, if we strive for greatness, we can always land there, right? That's our motto. That's the creed that we have for this podcast. And so when we talk about things, we're working through our things just like you guys are working through your things. So why not work them out together, right? Cool? Cool. All right. So we're going to get right to the topic, guys. My wife wrote a beautiful, beautiful post on Monday. She started this thing called Marriage Mondays. And I enjoyed this week's Marriage Monday because it was something that, sometimes you have to be reminded of all the things you've been through to get to this point, And so my wife, you want to share what you wrote on Monday for Marriage Monday?
So I just shared a post, actually a picture of us at my sweet 16.
Yep.
And I was so skinny.
I should probably put the picture in the screen so people I should put the picture in the screen so people can actually see it. I'll
that
put it
was
in
me
there.
before 3 babies. Before 3 of your big-headed kids came along. But yes, I shared a picture of us at my sweet 16.
Yeah.
And it was just, I was going through my phone, I found the picture, and I just took a moment to stop and to reminisce on, just a young 16-year-old, young girl, like all the things. I was like, what was I thinking at 16? Did I think I would have the life I have now? What were my dreams? What were my goals? And it just got me thinking about our relationship because we're embracing each other in the picture. So I was just I wanted to start this Marriage Mondays. I think we both have a heart for marriages, and I feel like marriages, so many marriages, ones that we can see from afar, people that we know personally are under attack, and I just feel like in whatever way I can pray, whatever way I can share a piece of what I've been through, whatever that can help somebody else to work through their marriage. It's just I just have a heart for that. So I just wanted to start the Marriage Monday.
And I thought it was such a dope idea too. And I'm gonna keep telling my wife she gotta make sure she speaks up because we don't have our microphone set up this time.
Am I doing my baby voice?
Yeah, so we gotta make sure we speak up so that we can make sure you can hear her. But
it's my loudest voice.
All right, cool. But I just thought it was such a dope idea to kind of just reminisce. But my wife also came back. She doubled back and was like, we should talk about some of this stuff on our podcast because we've been through so many things from being together as pretty much kids, meeting each other at 15 and 14 years old to being married now for almost 15 years. It's been a while, and we've been through a lot of things. And my wife put in a post that there's never been a time where we can say, not never been a time.
There's been times.
Yeah,
there's been We have good times.
Of course. Yeah, I was saying it wrong. That's why I stopped myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like,
okay,
I hope you had a good time all these years being married to me.
No,
But
yeah.
I really wanted to. So I get a lot of, oh, I love your pictures. I love your post. I love.
I can take that out, but there's a big booger hanging out. Sorry.
Did you just do that on camera?
I can take it out.
So annoying. You just threw me off. I forgot what I was saying.
You see, you get a lot of people talking about how.
What the hell?
You get a lot of people talking about how.
Yes. So annoying, yeah.
I'm trying to help you out.
They can't freaking see my booger. You're seeing it from the side. Just let my booger be. God, why can't you just get it when I wasn't talking?
Let my booger be. Go.
I just lost my.
I brought you back on track twice.
I get a lot of people, friends, family, just people online, people texting us and writing to us saying like, oh, I love your marriage and it's so perfect, and you know, I aspire to have something like this one day, which is all awesome and great. But I also get people on the side that like, you know, have you guys ever been through this or been through that? And I really wanted to take some time out to address that stuff. Like, I feel like people, you know, they see what you give to them, what you post and what you put out there. But I just wanted to encourage people and share some of the things that we've been through to make it to, I mean, there's been other people that's been married for 20, 30 years that we know. But just, I don't know, I guess starting from 14 and 15 to where we are now at 34 and 35. I just put our ages out there. To where we are right now and how we've even like come to this place. Like, I just felt like I wanted to be open. I wanted to be transparent and just say like, we've had struggles. Like, we've been through things. Like, we've gotten to this point because of therapy. Like, we've had tons and tons of therapy. Like, we've had to work on communication. We've had to work on trusting each other. We've had to work on our finances because he's a spender. He be spending all our money.
You a daggone. All right,
that is not a lie.
Keep going.
You're gonna be picking people's boogers. I'm gonna put you out there. What else? We've had to work through so many things, and we started having children when we were young. I was 21. Aaron was 22. So we were still figuring out ourselves as adults, and here we are trying to take care of a baby. Yeah. Like, we've been through it all. Like, and I've had people that I've had the chance to pray with and talk with them through marriage situations, and it's just like, oh, well, I don't know if I could talk to you about this because, you know, you and Aaron, like, y'all have this figured out, or y'all get it and y'all understand each other. And I'm like, let me tell you, okay?
It took a while to get to this spot in our marriage where we can healthily a word, where we can.
That is definitely not a word.
Okay, well, we can agree to disagree. It doesn't have to end in a knockdown, drag out fight. If she has an opinion, it's okay. She can have an opinion, and I cannot agree with that opinion, but it doesn't mean that we're going to get a divorce. You know what I mean? Like, some people take it to the point where if they disagree, that means they have to get a divorce. That's not how stuff works. Realistically, that's not how stuff works, or how it should work. Yeah. We've just been in a place to where we've had crazy knockdown, drag out, yelling and screaming, cursing at each other. We've been to those places where we've just haven't seen eye to eye and haven't talked to each other for a couple of days because we just were just that upset with each other. But now being more mature and being able to step back and see ourselves as one, who we are individually, two, who we are together, and three, what our common goal is, we were able to get better equipped to deal with the adversity in life. You know what I mean? And so, but my wife said it, you know, we've been through a lot of things, and I don't want us to, because social media is big on putting out what you want your image to be. You know, we can craft this image of a perfect marriage. We really can do that stuff if you wanted to, and post pictures of our kids here and give you these inspirational quotes and life is good. But life is good. I'll say that. Life is good now, but it took a long time to get there. And we can start just from us being growing up as different people. You know, me being a single mother household, my wife being in a whole different country, and having the difficulties of seeing different things in her parents and stuff like that. You know, dealing with abuse and dealing with, you know, how a husband and wife are to treat each other. It just wasn't something that we wanted to bring into our marriage. So we both kind of came into a marriage with
brokenness.
Yeah, brokenness with ideas of what we thought marriage was.
Yeah.
And I knew that I didn't want a marriage like my parents' marriage, so I would think about, okay, well, I want to be like, I want to be like Cliff Huxtable, or I want to be like, by image of what I thought was a real marriage or a good marriage or stuff I saw on TV. And so I thought if I could emulate these people, that means I'll have a good marriage. You know what I mean? And that's not always that's not how it always works. Those are scripted things. Life is, as we all know, is definitely unscripted. As much as we try to plan for it, life is unscripted. And so we had to work on, for one, I had to find out. I'll talk about myself personally first.
Okay, I was about to share a story.
Okay, baby. Yeah.
It's just a story I just remember. It's a real. It's a.
Sorry, yeah.
You're just not focused.
Yeah,
today.
I felt your leg.
This
You had nice leggings
this is
on.
what I had to deal with. Thank you for telling the people I have leggings on. Because last time you said I had no bottoms on. You told me I had no bottoms. I was Winnie the Pooh in it. But anyway, it's just a story. I remember the first time we moved in together and we were having our first official argument. And then you said something to me that I didn't like, and I was like, slap right across the face.
Yeah.
And then you had to sit me down, and you were like, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah, well, I don't get down like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you said it nicely, which I appreciate, because I came from a household that I saw a lot of domestic violence. So that was that was what I knew. Like when we were arguing, you just get the fighting after with fists and words, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that you sat me down was just like, hey, let's not have that kind of marriage.
Yeah.
That's not what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk out. We're gonna use our words.
Right. No, but let me tell you why I took that approach. I took that approach because it was like I saw the same thing in my household too. I saw domestic violence and stuff like that too. But I also wanted her to know that will never ever fly with me. So I was calm, and maybe that was the God in me that would. Well, this time we weren't even church. I don't think at this time, but
I was always churched. Excuse you.
You a lie. But anyway,
I was always church.
You a lie.
I grew up in the church.
Yeah, church is chicken.
I got baptized.
Yeah, church is chicken. All right. Anyway, but I really want to. I had to explain to her that won't fly with me because I'm the type of person. I am a Gemini to the core, and I can be as the sweet guy, and I can be the guy who is just, I'll rip your head off in 2 seconds. And so I don't know how it happened.
That's why we don't have a gun, y'all. I'm gonna end up shot and dead somewhere.
Yeah, we don't have a gun. But anyway, so so
I would stick my finger in your mouth.
So anyway, it really just was an opportunity to set ground rules of what I wasn't going to accept in a marriage ever. Because I've seen where that goes, and I know where my temper can go. And so the last thing I want to do is to lash out like somebody who, I didn't want to lash out like I know I could lash out. I didn't want to do that because that would be a really bad situation. And so, again, we had to learn because she came from a household where that was happening. I came from a household that was happening, and her first reaction, without even thinking, because if you know my wife, she's not that type of person. I don't think she's ever been in a fight in her life. She's never ever been.
Know what kind of fights
She a punk.
I'm in? She
a punk. But no, I'm joking. But I don't think she's ever been in a fight in her life. But she's not the person to hit anybody. She's not the person to hit anybody. Like she's just not.
Yes.
Yeah, she's not the person. So for her to be that frustrated that she felt that was something she had to do, that I was like, all right, look, let's talk about this right now. Because I've never ever accepted that ever.
Let's handle this right now. Like, this is not what we're gonna do in our relationship. We're not gonna be putting our hands on each other. So
because the next time ain't gonna be nice. I know, but
that's not nice.
But
every time you say something that's not right, I'm gonna stick my finger right in your
Stop,
nose.
man. But all honesty, we just had to really set ground rules on what we expected from each other because we did come from such broken households.
And not all times do we listen to each other. I want to put that out there because there's so many times. Well, there's things that I wanted to do, and you were just like, nope, not in that season. Don't want to learn that right now.
Yeah,
it's not time for me to do any of that stuff. So
Yeah,
I think
but that comes from maturing as people too. Because I can tell you, I've been at the point where I thought I was a grown up and a man and all this other stuff, and I really didn't even touch the surface of what it meant to be a man, or what it meant to be a husband. Like again, coming from what I never really thought what a husband was. I just knew what I didn't want to be. I didn't want to be abusive. I didn't want to do some things that I saw, my parents do. I just knew what I didn't want to do. So, but I didn't know how to do certain things. So, it took maturing on my end to know how to love her. We were teenage sweethearts, but I had to realize how to love her as a woman, as a wife, and as a mother of my children. It just took time.
And also to love me through stages. Like, it was hard for me to love you at 17, love you at 18, love you at 19. Like, every year,
because
we were
evolving,
as, teenagers, then adults, then, then we graduated college and jobs and everything else that started coming into the picture. Like, we had to really, I wrote in that post, we had to evolve together. And I think that's such a great work because, you really do have to evolve together. I mean, even people that come together, I feel now people that come together and they're fully matured and grown, now as adults, like, I feel like you still have to evolve. Like, everybody goes through different seasons in life. So I feel like, we really had to work on evolving together.
Yeah, and that's so true because my wife is the one that I feel I think women in general evolve faster than men. They mature faster than men. That's just
put that out there.
Shut up. It's just but they just do. I mean, come on. They mature faster than men, and so I had to realize when my wife was maturing, I really wasn't. And it took me a while, probably longer than I know she wanted to, for me to kind of get it. That I needed to be here. I needed to be better. And it wasn't something like you got. And credit to my wife, she was never the person like you got to do this. You need to be better. You ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing. Like she would always, in love, let me know exactly like, look, boo, we trying to do this as a family. We're trying to do this. So we need to be like this. We need to be here together. Like it was never like you're taking too long or this or that. She never really was the type. She
Maybe
never is.
Sometimes when I was mad.
When she was mad, no. Not even when you was mad, because that would have been a big argument. So, and I appreciate my wife for doing that because she didn't have to do that stuff. Because a lot of women, they will tear down their partner if they feel like their partner is not pulling their weight. But she was the one that reminded me of who I am, and who I am in God, and also who I am to her, meaning her husband. Like, if I can't expect my husband to do it, then who am I supposed to expect to do it? And so that was the type of things I had to learn as a man. Like, yeah, these are things your husband is supposed to do. So, I had to mature in a lot of areas because I was selfish in a lot of different areas. And so, moving forward in some of the things that we had to go through, we really had to relearn how to stay in love with each other. Because there's been seasons in our marriage where we just weren't clicking. I mean, we just weren't talking. We were upset with each other, mentally, sexually. It was just stuff we just weren't connecting at all. It was just a lot of things that we had to learn how to stay in love with each other. Because some people, I hear people a lot saying, "Man, how can you be married for so long to the same person?" Or don't you get tired or annoyed of that person? And the one thing I do love about us is that we really do love each other, and we are in love with each other, and we are.
And I feel like we're friends. I saw a post today that's saying.
You actually took my point, but there you go.
Finger to nose. That's our thing now. Let that be our thing now. Finger to.
But chop you. Go.
Yeah, I feel like we're friends. I feel like at the end of the day, like, we like each other. Like, we're friends. Like, we love each other as husband and wife, but we like each other.
Right.
I saw the post today. I'm trying to think of what it said, but it said something like, like you can have love in a marriage, but it's the friendship that keeps. I don't want to say it the wrong way, but it was saying something to the point like friendship is what keeps your marriage going. Like, other things can fail, seasons can change, but once you have that friendship, once I don't know, I got you, you got me, like. Like,
So I'll say that. I've said
we're-
this before. I might have said this before on the podcast. Like I feel my wife is my best friend. Like I have a lot of great close friends, but my wife is truly my best friend because I can talk to my wife about everything. I can confide in my wife, and I know that she won't throw it in my face if I mess up. You know what I mean? Like I can be vulnerable around my wife. I don't have to worry about her judging me or her. We've had difficult conversations about everything, even if it was uncomfortable to me or I felt the conversation was uncomfortable to her. We still had those vulnerable, uncomfortable talks because at the end of the day, I know she has my back, and she knows that I have her back.
yeah.
And that brings you to another point: is whenever you're married, you have to be each other's biggest cheerleaders. You have to. Like, when my wife accomplishes something, I am the most proudest husband. Like, I can remember when she graduated college. Like, I had tears in my eyes because I was just so proud of her. Like every day when she goes to work, I'm so proud of her because she comes back with all these stories of how she was able to connect with a patient, or she was able to talk to a patient when the patient was feeling down, or praise God, this didn't happen to a patient. You know what I mean? And it's because of that she was vigilant, and so when I hear those stories, I'm proud of my wife. Like that, I am proud of the woman that she is, and so I think when you take pride in your spouse, it's one of the best things you could do. When you feel like her victories are your victories and vice versa, that's when you know that you are on a path to be able to sustain a healthy marriage because you have to be your spouse's biggest cheerleader. What do you think? Girl,
I don't know if you could do that on a podcast.
you do what you
Oh
want
my
to
god, I
do.
gave you all my lip stuff.
What do you think about that? About being your
I'm trying to get some brownie points. Let me feel all over you.
Stop, no, so stupid. Yo.
Oh, yes, I agree. And I realized this. Well, I guess this is one of the best things about our marriages because we've been together since we were younger. So we've always had a chance to kind of, like, it's something that was just a part of us, I feel, from the early on in our relationship. Like, we were there for each other's graduation from high school, and then things that happened in college, and you playing football, and we've
And
just,
music
as,
and stuff
like,
like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
like, just
yeah.
all the different things, like, we kind of got to experience it and support each other through.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking back on this, like, recently, you started a new job.
Yeah.
And it's something that is just so in line with, like, his gifts, what God has called you to do. And you get to get paid for it. So you've been doing it for so long, and to finally be able to serve God, do what He's called you to do, and be able to provide for your family, it's just like it's just like a prayer answered. And I was just so happy. Like every time you go to work, like you talk about work, like I'm just so like I'm happy for you, and I feel like that's I love that about our relationship because I love that we could cheer each other on. I love that we could be there to support each other and just share ideas. But I also love too that when we get out of line, because originally when we first started your work, it was a little transition for us. Like you being gone, like we weren't communicating. You get home, I don't know you're home. I'm like rushing home to get to the kids, but you're already home. So I had to be like, okay, boo, like, I'm happy you got your job, but hello, home is your first ministry. Like, don't get it twisted. But
See, I gotta deal with this. Is she's sweet
I
and
got
sour.
that hand. I was like snatching air. Like
Anyway.
I had to lay down the law. Okay.
Yeah, she did.
But
and
I love that we can support each other, cheer each other on, but at the same time, love on each other and tell each other like, hey, like now that's too much.
Right.
Reel it back in. Like, let's prioritize each other and our family and our kids.
Yeah.
While we do good at our jobs.
True. And that actually brings me to another point, which is your spouse should always be honest with you. I mean, because if your spouse gives you a false sense of security and then sends you out into the world like, go be great, and you ain't
Why
worth
would
a
a spouse do that?
You ain't worth a daggone rusty nickel.
Like the American Idol, like you could sing, but you really can't.
Yeah, like the people like, girl,
I don't
you
think
can
a
sing.
spouse would do that.
No, but what I'm saying is, I mean, in the world, like you telling your spouse to go after and do this, and you know daggone well that's not what they're supposed to be doing.
Like what? I don't think nobody would do that to their spouse. I'm not sure about this advice.
No, what I'm saying is be truthful with your spouse. Meaning, like, if you feel your spouse is lacking in any area, be truthful with them. You don't agree with that?
I'm trying to think, like, what kind of, like, what would be a good example for that? Because I would never send you out in the world and be like, Aaron, go do that when I know, like.
All right, so I'll say this. So, no, it's not even you. I'm not saying you. I'm talking about in general because I've had conversations. I've had conversations with people to where they know they've told their spouse the wrong thing, and they just let it be. And then
Like you just let your spouse just fail miserably.
Oh yeah.
What are you talking about?
Like
we gonna talk about this offline.
I know, cause I'm trying not to say what it is, but
I was like, what? I would never send you out there and be like.
I've heard of people. I've had conversations with people who let their spouses really just self-destruct. Like just really.
No.
I'm trying to tell you.
This is not from a healthy marriage.
Exactly. Thank you. Welcome to the podcast. I just
welcome
said.
To the podcast.
Yeah, I just said that these are the things you have to be truthful with your spouse, because we've had very, very tough conversations, and my wife she'll let it go. She'll let it go, and then she'll be like, okay, enough's enough. Aaron, bum, 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 bum. And I sometimes don't know how to receive it sometimes. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's the second, third, or maybe even fourth time she's telling me something that I'm able to receive it, but I really sometimes...
Third or fourth time. It take you, like, lots of times to receive something I'm saying.
Anyway... But she's right, though. She's right.
Want examples?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay.
But your spouse should always be the person that has your back the most, meaning they let you know what the truth is. Not spouses, not your truth. Because you can have, your spouse could be very, very, very equipped to do something, and because you don't want them to do it, you could be like, I don't think you're supposed to be doing that. Especially Christian people, too, because they'll put God on everything. They'll be like, I don't think, this ain't your calling. God ain't saying that. It's just because you don't want them to do it that you're like, okay, well, I'm going to put Jesus on this.
You're just putting people out there.
There's so many situations I have run through my mind.
What are you talking about?
I can't be telling people
Tell
stuff.
Us, sister.
No, get out of here. I can't be telling people stuff. But the just be truthful with your spouse, support your spouse and everything that they do.
I mean, in all honesty, let me tell you, I'm thinking of an example. Mm-hmm. So when you first, my husband's a musician, if you don't know. When you first wanted to join the Nikeo group, you came to me and you're like, you know, this is a hot group. I want to be a part of it. Like, I feel like God's telling me to, you know, to pursue it, to like meet these people, be a part of this group. And I was just like, I don't know if you remember my response. I was just like, absolutely not. Like, I don't think that's what God is trying to tell you to do. I mean, I supported you fully when you did join. Yeah. But at first I was like, I don't know. Because at that time, like, you were looking for work. I was like, I think God's telling you to get a 9 to 5. I'm thinking God's telling you to go pay these bills. Feed these kids.
That's true, yeah.
That's what I think God's telling you to go do.
Well, look,
but
how many years later and God has worked through us.
I'm happy you didn't listen to me, because I was just straight up like, you follow one more dream and I pay that light bill. It's gonna be a tough time in here.
God watered and added, increased, and all the other stuff, and we remain faithful to God. And you know, shout out to the KO Music Group. It's been about 7-8 years now, so salute to you guys.
You're just gonna be putting shameless plugs in here.
Follow the KO Music Group.
That's a stick your finger in the nose thing.
That is. So you should always make sure you have your spouse's back by telling them the truth. And
yes, I hope people are doing that. That seems
and but think about it too. Your spouse should be the person that can tell you the truth. if you receive the truth from your boy, you should definitely be able to receive the truth from your spouse. Because I know as men, sometimes we hear our wives talk sometimes and we think that they're instantly trying to tear us down. I'm still working through that because my wife could tell me something in love and I'll still take it as criticism where I'm just
Yes.
like, yo, like, come on,
And
man.
let's talk about that because I think
Yeah, go
that's
ahead.
something that we struggle with too.
Yeah.
And I feel like as a wife, I'm learning that I have to, like, not only do I have to find the right time, like if you come home from work, you're tired, you're exhausted. Like I was telling this to somebody recently because they wanted advice, like when should they talk to their husband about something. And I'm like, she's like, you know, he just got home from work. Like, I'm about to go all in right now. I'm like, no, right now is not the time.
No.
He's tired. It's not appropriate. Like,
No.
let him rest. He just got home from work and he told you he had a hard day. Like, don't pile on to that. So that's something I had to work to. Like, I had to find a time that was appropriate. Like, I had to come at you and let you know. Like, even, you know, when we went to counseling, our counselor told us, like, pray before. Like, before you start talking, before you discuss anything, like, hold hands, look at each other, and pray. There's something about praying right before you discuss things that can go left, but hopefully won't go left because,
Right.
you know, you've brought God into the midst of it. But we don't do that all the time. We rarely do that. Let's keep it real. Because I'd be like, Aaron,
Because
gotta...
we've gotten better at it. That's why, because we don't come at each other sideways
Yeah.
like that. Like you said, we've matured through our marriage. So
Yeah.
we don't really come at each other sideways like that no more. Because we not saying that obviously you should still pray, and we do pray, but we don't pray before we have conversation. We don't pray.
Yeah, which we should.
We should.
And
But
we
we've
should,
also come
but-
to the point where we're not at each other's throats like we used to be. And that actually leads to I don't know if it's the final point, but...
You're not letting me get my thoughts out and
Oh, you're not
discuss
done?
my last point. No, I was just saying, as a wife, like, I had to learn, because I know some people struggle with that. Women,
Oh,
like,
okay,
we
yeah.
struggle with the way we, like, communicate with our husbands, because I feel
Yeah,
like
husbands too.
sometimes if we know that something needs to get done, I feel like a lot of women that I know, like, we could already see the ending. Like, we should do this, and this. And I feel like for husbands, like, I've heard other people talk about this too. Like, for husbands, like, it takes you guys time to, like, think about it, try to figure it out. When we already, like, what you figuring out? Like, A, B, and C should be done. Like, I already know, like, that's the plan. So it took me time to kind of give you time to process through and come to you in love and say to you, like, hey, babe, like, I'm not coming at you. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to disrespect your leadership or anything. But, you know, like, can we talk about this? Can we work through this? Like, can we come together with a plan?
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, this is it, like, you need to do this, or do A, B, C, and D, because, you know, that's what's going to lead to a great result, and letting you take time.
We've had it both ways too, because my wife has said that before, and I don't respond. I'm the type of person, I don't respond to, like, I don't.
Yeah, you called me shady the other day in exact words.
Yeah,
you
being
like
shady.
that's being shady.
Yeah.
And I literally was like, baby, I'm coming to you in love. I'm trying to tell you.
Now they bump
Like,
all that.
you like, oh, that's shady. I'm like, how is that shady? Like, I'm trying to come at. I literally said like I'm not trying to, like, thing your leadership. I'm not trying to go against you. Like, I'm not, like, but, you know, I think
at the
that this
time,
would work better. You're like, that's shady.
It just came off weird. Stuff came off weird to me, and I wasn't feeling that. Again, I am a Gemini, and I flip the switch like that sometimes. So I felt some type of way. Whatever she said, I felt some type of way. But you're right, though. The way that you do communicate and the way you say things to your spouse, when you say things to your spouse, is so important, because it can make or break the way you say it can make or break how the next 10 minutes are going to be in your marriage. You know what I mean? So that just the way you say it could explode into a knockdown, drag out, fight, argument, whatever it is. Just in the way you say things. That's based on how that person's day went, how your energy is, how their energy is.
Yes,
like,
energy. So
yeah.
that's so good.
So it's just ways that you guys gotta learn how to communicate, knowing how each other works, and that also comes with just knowing each other and being able to have that type of communication with each other, to know how I feel, how I react, and then how you say things can make or break how how this thing works. You know what I mean?
Yes. I agree.
And so, one of my last points. Are you finished with that one? I'm sorry.
I agree with everything you say right
I
now.
know that's right.
Your lips are looking cute.
Hey, you see the dimple?
I love that dimple.
What was I gonna say? Oh, my last point, because we already at like 30-something minutes.
Yes, because you're just talking.
I know. Sorry, y'all. It's been a while.
You're
I told you
cute.
it's been a while.
You're cute, though.
I'm not even mess with her, because when the camera go off, you know, she gonna be like, I'm tired.
I'm going to bed.
Yeah, exactly. So shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
Honey, that's so rude.
I was making a joke.
Nobody gets that joke because they weren't there when that happened. The whole scenario. That's just coming off as rude.
Anyway, it was from something that happened before. All right. So
He does not tell me.
my
He was about to.
shut your mouth. It was my last point. Be mindful of the company that you keep around you. We've learned this in counseling as well. I've learned this in counseling. What's this counseling? No, I've learned this, that the people that you have around you can also make or break your marriage. And let me tell you why. Because sometimes people have opinions based on how their life is going, how their day is going, how their marriage is going, and they will put those opinions on you. And before you know it, you're thinking this is how your marriage is. When in reality, somebody else just put how they feel onto you. And so when you have negative people around you in your circle, only negativity can come from that. And so I am so happy that our village, our people that are around us, are people that are working on marriage, that are continuing to try and better themselves and better their marriages. And so
which is by choice. It just
which is
didn't
by
happen.
choice. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
by choice.
All this stuff is by
That
choice.
we
Like,
choose friends that are.
I'm
I'm
gonna
so sorry.
let me finish.
I'm so sorry.
Because you actually
Go
just
ahead, baby.
no,
Go
because
ahead.
you just actually brought up something else. Marriage is literally a choice. We choose to stay together. We told ourselves a long time ago, divorce is never an option. We're never ever going to divorce each other. Like when we said till death do us part, we really meant to death do us part. I mean the good, the bad, the ugly, the rich, the poor, for better, for worse, sickness, health. All that stuff, that the vows that we took, we take them seriously. We said to ourselves, no matter what happens in our marriage, we will always put God first, and we will always put each other first. Point blank. And that's the one thing that has kept our marriage solid. Mm-hmm. Is that we've had some,
especially in the tough times.
Especially in the tough times, we've had some horrible times. We've had we've had times that we know for a fact that will crumble other marriages. Mm-hmm. But we decided that we will always stick together. We decided that with God, we will always stick together. We will make sure that each other is heard. We will make sure that we will make sure. I'm sorry, there's a bug in here.
We said that we will always fight for each other.
Always fight for each other.
Yeah.
Always fight for each other.
Yeah.
I'll never ever not have my wife's back. This is, like I said again, this is my best friend. If we're gonna fight, we're gonna fight together.
Yeah.
Through everything.
And we've had seasons where you wanted to give up, and I've had seasons where I wanted to give up, and I felt like I was fighting for you when you couldn't fight for yourself, and you were fighting for me when I couldn't fight for myself. It was just like kind of crushing and holding each other up.
That's it. But we decided that we will not let divorce be an option in our marriage. I don't care what happens. We will not, barring physical abuse, barring all that.
Besides me slapping you.
Yeah.
What if I kept slapping you?
We obviously would not be making this video right now. I mean, come on now. But obviously, and just a disclaimer. Let me just say this real quick. If you are in an abusive marriage, physically, verbal, where the person is manipulating you, like, you should know by now what a healthy marriage looks like. Let me tell you how you know.
Some people.
No. I'm gonna tell you. Listen, you're right. No, some people don't realize that they're not in a healthy marriage. This is when you're not in a healthy marriage. And I'm so glad that we actually posted a clip today on our podcast page where Ashton Martins talked about being in a yo-yo relationship. Where they talked about how the person who's manipulating the relationship only yo-yos you in, brings you close to them when they feel like you're discovering that they're not the person that they're supposed to be. When you start to discover that you know what, I deserve better than this, they do something to yo-yo you back up to say, "Oh, baby, I love you. Let's go to dinner. Let's go out. Let's go do." They bring you something home to show you, "Oh, I love you this much." When the rest of the time they just been trash to you, but all of a sudden they bring you a gift home, and now you're like, "Okay, everything's back to normal." They give it a couple of days, and they back to trashing you. That yo-yo relationship that they talked about, I thought it was just so important to repost that. So if you haven't seen it, look at it. But a toxic relationship is one that if you're constantly crying every day, it's toxic. If you're thinking about you're less than what you deserve, if every day you feel like you're less than who you are, that's not, you're in a toxic relationship. And some counseling needs to be happening, some real talk needs to be happening, and some standards need to be put there. So let's put that all out there right now. Know exactly what relationship you're in. And I know sometimes it's hard when you're in it. I understand that, but at the same time, I tell this to my friends, to young married couples. I say you need to set your standards early. Because if your standards are, you're not going to talk down to me, you're not going to physically abuse me, you're not going to emotionally abuse me, you're not going to mentally abuse me. If your standards are there, and that person that you say that you're in love with continues to just knock down those standards, continues to go below those standards, that's not a healthy relationship. And it will never be a healthy relationship if you guys don't try and work on them together. Point blank. All right? I just need to put that out there, because when I say we decided that no matter what, we're never going to get divorced, all this other stuff, we had to both be healthy in order to have that type of expectation on our marriage.
And it took a lot of work.
It took a lot of work to get healthy.
A lot of counseling.
Yeah, a lot of faith in it. A lot
of faith in, a lot of praying, a lot of crying, a lot of
sacrifice.
Yeah.
It took a lot of pride. It took the pride had to go. The ego had to go. It really took a lot of humility. It took a lot of brokenness. It took a lot of, just some things just had to get cleaned out. Yeah. And so I want you guys to know that you don't have to be stuck in a marriage that is less than. You don't. You guys have to both agree to live above what you guys have chosen for yourself. And if the below is, we're not going to talk down to each other, we're not going to physically abuse each other, we're not going to
lie to each other,
lie to each other, we're not going to cheat. Yeah, if those are things that you guys have set as a template to what your marriage is not going to be, but the other person continues to just continue to do those things, you guys need to have a talk. You need to have a talk. Either some type of counseling, some type of accountability, or you need to talk about, okay, since you continue to live below what we set as a standard, do we really need to be married? And how much, and not only do we need to be married, but how much are you willing to change in order to keep this marriage together? Because especially men love. I'm sorry, fellas, I'm putting this out there. We love to say, okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna change. I can do this, and then what is it? The only thing with change behavior is the only way not doing change behavior is the only way that you can say you're sorry. That's it. But if you can't say sorry and keep doing the same things, sorry, fellas. And whatever ladies too, if ladies are going through, but I know, men always, women always complain about this for men. But if you say sorry and don't change what you're doing, you're not sorry. And you can pretty much care less what the person is doing. So that's just my advice. To the opposite spouse. If your spouse is saying sorry but not changing what they're doing, they're not sorry. They're just trying to appease you so they can continue to go and do what they're doing. Healthy relationships, healthy marriages don't work like that. I'm sorry. They don't work like that. And I had to learn that. And my wife had to learn that as well. But we're at this point now because we've made sacrifices. We made sure that we love each other. We made sure we were best friends. We made sure that we were invested. We had each other's back. We were each other's best friends. And we made sure that the circle that we're in is one of positivity and love. There's no way you can have a negative force in your circle because it's draining. It's draining. And it can drain your marriage. And I'll be damned if I'm going to let an outside person come and destroy what we built for so long just because of how negative they are. I'd rather say, all right, I'll talk to you later, and me and my wife be happy in the circle that we in. Point blank. So I'm gonna stop talking. I'm actually done talking, but we just want to
Yes.
kind of talk with you guys a little bit on what marriage looks like. Marriage is never ever going to be perfect.
What it looks like and what it doesn't look like.
Right. Marriage is never going to be perfect. We promise you that it will never ever be perfect. But if you guys are willing to fight together,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's worth fighting
it's
for.
worth fighting for. If marriage is worth fighting for. If you love somebody and you guys are equally fighting to keep it together, it will work. The problem is when one person's fighting and the other person's not even in the ring. That's when you know it can't work like that. All right? Anything else you gotta say, babe?
No, I think you said a lot.
Yeah, I did. I'm sorry, y'all. I was talking a lot, but
You like
gotta-
a black Dr. Phil with hair. A cute one.
oh gosh. Anyway, you see when I start spitting that thing, she try to get all up close to me.
You so smart.
Oh God! All right, y'all. We appreciate you guys, but thank y'all for just taking the time to listen to us.
Yes.
Again, we don't have it all figured out, but we know that marriage takes communication. It takes love. It takes patience. It takes all these things.
Yeah.
But and this is what we want for you guys. You know what I mean? We want you guys to make it. That's why we started this page. We want you guys to make it. We want to talk to other couples. We want to feel like, you know, that is hope. And some of you that have DM'd us with some of your marriage stuff, we keep it as real as possible. We've been through everything you possibly could have went through. We went through, barring physical stuff. We've been through stuff. We have testimonies on how God has redeemed us, how God has taken us.
Yep.
You know,
Restored our hearts.
restored our marriage, restored our faith.
Trust.
Yeah, man. We've been through it. God's redeemed a lot of stuff, man. And so we just here to let you guys know that it can happen. It can happen. Keep fighting for each other. Keep fighting for your marriage. But also fight for yourself when the time isn't right. All right?
Yeah, that's good advice. So,
All right, y'all.
that's some
We love
awkward
y'all.
stuff.
We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for joining the page. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud. Everything's on our link tree and on SoundCloud. All right? All right, y'all.
Yeah.
I am AP. This is my beautiful wife.
Latoya, thank
and-
you guys for listening. We
Yeah.
appreciate you. We are praying. We are definitely covering all of our followers in
Yeah.
prayer, keeping you guys in prayer, and keep fighting. Keep fighting for your marriage.
Fight for your marriage,
yourself.
guys.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.
And we're out.
Bye.
I gotta stick my finger.
It's us against the world, baby.